Hey guys, Tyler2K here. Today we're going to take a look at the IGN Fahkumram starter guide and early look video. I've gone over this a couple of times, but there were some things that I noticed that the person who was taking a look at the footage and whatnot kind of passed over, and I figured we should talk about it. So after watching this and finding out some more information regarding inputs and stuff like that, I went ahead and took a look at the old trailer footage, my own speculation footage, stuff like that, and kind of have a better picture of what the character is kind of looking for. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump around. First things first, I'm going to take a look at the first inputs as usual. If I make a mistake, please let me know time code to set mistake. Otherwise, yeah, this is all not speculation now. We have a little bit more information, but there's still a lot up in the air, and I will talk definitely in depth when we get to parts that really deserve a second look of the information. But yeah, let's start by just taking a look at the initial match footage first. And now that I have fresh eyes and I haven't looked at this part again since I first watched it, we'll have a better idea what's going on. Okay, so 1-1, still have that. That's good to see. Hard knockdown, or like not a real hard knockdown, sorry, where it puts him into a hard crouch state. Usually this signifies +7, +8. Initially, when 1-1 was initially released for Fahkumram, when he came out the first time, 1-1 actually caused knockdown. But yeah, I think they made it into like the +7 crouching state, which allows for force 50-50 with both stand 3 on 13 at +7. That means Power Crush can't win. So stand 3 meta is forced, otherwise down forward 1, which used to be 13, was your go-to option. Nowadays, down forward 1 hits on 15. We'll talk about that later because that will be very important. So down forward 3, got clipped on sidestep. Nice duck. Oh yeah, so one thing I noticed right away, this snap kick wall stand 4 looks significantly better. I don't know quite how to describe it, but it might be after knockdown to get knocked away. And yeah, Fahkumram wall stand 4 was easily probably the worst wall stand 4 in Tekken 7. Despite the fact this guy's an ultra big, super tall, super long legs, yeah, his wall stand 4 was just really, really bad. So it looks like they finally fixed it. Probably have to do some testing when he comes out next week, but it does look significantly better right away, which is a good thing for sure. Okay, so now we see 4-4-2-1, but the issue is 4-4-2-1. The input has actually changed. So this move now is back to 1, and then also from his install state, which I can't remember the term right now, unfortunately. Yeah, he has an extension to it as well. But yeah, from them moving to back to 1 is definitely going to hurt in combo structures. Usually kind of similar to a character like Brian, who'd end your combos with like a QCF 2-1, post spin option to do wall carry for your opponent. Now, if the input is like back to 1, you have to deep dash, make sure you're close enough where the 4-4-2 would have naturally a little bit more range, and make sure you're able to hit the back 2. So it likely won't hurt a ton, but it's something of note that it's definitely going to hurt long carry, or short carry rather, when the game comes out. Okay, 3-3, no duck. Oh yeah, back one. Now this is a good one. So back 1, thank God they've kind of buffed it again. Back 1 now causes a flop state where unscaled is guaranteed. Here, Fahkumram goes for 4-for-1+2, which leads him into the install state. 4-for-1+2 is going to be the go-to option to gain access to it. I don't know how valuable back 4-3-2 will be for wall combos, because typically that's like really bad damage, really bad Oki, but we'll see same thing next week. Okay, so post 4-for-1+2, he approaches with 4-4-4, which is good to see there's some confirmation. Cancel 3 and to 2. So basically the hell sweep line, although because he's under his install state, the 2 option also causes attack throw, which would then be a wall break. Notice like the sliding trajectory downward, which basically means this won't actually wall splat for a launcher. When you're directly at the wall, maybe you get a follow-up hit, possibly, but this is not a launcher type hell sweep whatsoever, unfortunately to like Fahkumram's detriment, but at the same time might be too strong if you had it. Okay, wall stand 4 again. Down 4, -15, a little bit late on the punish. Okay, so now we see the old 4-2-1, which is simply now 2-1 instead, which is what the commentator tells us later. So 2-1 is a 12-frame option, so this should be wall stand 2, I believe, -13, so he's a little bit late on the punish. But what's interesting to note is now that it's no longer 2-1, now it's no longer 4-2-1, my apologies, there's 2 major things of note. So similar to 4-4-2-1, one of the easiest ways to do a long carry combo with Fahkumram was to do something called a forward buffer. So basically, you would double tap after your spin, hold forward, and then hit 2 and then 1. So what would happen is you get this really long range, you have really good carry, and unlike down forward 4-3, which is technically max damage, forward 2-1 is like 1 less point of damage, almost the same carry, and it's like 10 times easier to perform. So usually you would forward buffer off of that. Second thing is, yeah, because it's going to be changed to 2-1, that means you won't have access to this from FC now that wall stand 2 is a thing, and you can't do like a stand 2 off of full crouch. Technically, you could forward buffer under some scenarios, but that's no longer possible. So I guess the third thing of note that I'm trying to get to, now that 4-4-2-1 is back 2-1, now that forward 2-1 is just 2-1 by itself, what is forward 4-2-1? What is forward 2? Right? By them changing the inputs, that heavily infers that there's going to be a new input off of forward 2. And that's unfortunately something that we haven't seen yet. I believe in the either trailer video or even this breakdown video. We just simply don't know what forward 2-1 is or 4-4-2-1 yet. I imagine 4-4-2 is an input because he does have a new move, forward 4-3. But 4-4-2 otherwise is completely off the table. And it's something almost certainly that will exist. Now, again, forward 2 might be the same as stand 2. They just simplified the character. But same thing. It's like, okay, well, this forward buffering thing is forward to an input, so therefore you can't forward buffer it, so on and so forth. And nice backdash. Good block. Bad punish. Yeah, he gets a standing 4 instead of wall stand 4. Okay, big interrupt. Trades positive. Too far away for actual follow-up. Ah, yeah, so yeah, this is a huge nerf. So running 3 is just really, I don't want to say bad, but yeah, it's just bad now. And we'll talk about it later, or I guess we can talk about it now. But yeah, running 3 is no longer active for like 6 or 7 frames. It's now active for 3, which means running 3 no longer hits like half screen, which is unfortunate because on block, running 3 is only +6 because, of course, in T8, the running inputs are significantly easier in this game, right? So, okay, they had to make running 3 worse. At the same time, this has no range now, and it's kind of really reminiscent for me of a move like forward 3, where if you incorrectly input running 3, you get this really bad version of running 3, and then you die. That's kind of what running 3 feels like now. Really, really rough nerf. Big nerf, in my opinion. Okay, eats the running 3 too. Down back 4. Okay, good jab interrupt. Okay, went for the 15. So there we go. Down forward 2-3, and then they cut the camera here. Notice the initial down forward 2 didn't hit, the 3 hit, but the combo potential is heavily reduced in this position. So then down back 4 is the go-to spin line for Fahkumram. Okay, so they go ahead and talk about his master and how, you know, the artwork is made by a monk, and now we get into moves.
Cover his Garuda Force buff, which is a buff.
Okay, Garuda Force, yeah, that's the name of the install.
Let's quickly cover his Garuda Force buff, which is a buff gained by landing one of the following.
Yeah, so basically, a lot of moves will lead into Garuda Force. For the most part, it's like down forward 1-2 is like your 15 option. Back forward 3-2 if you're by the wall to end the combo. Like I said, usually whenever you go into an install state, it takes time for you to get meters. So for instance, when Fahkumram does it, he also causes, you know, he causes a little flex animation. That flex is costing you frames for that to come out. So actually there, he's not really doing the flex like he does in T7. So maybe it won't cost you anything at all. But realistically, there's probably at least 3 to 4 frames of a penalty on that move because of that.
His punch parry, or if you're in heat, you just have the buff on him.
Yeah, so here is our actual look at the Garuda Force option. So again, forward 2-1 is probably an input because again, forward 2-1 is change input. Down forward 3+4, I believe, is the hell sweep, instant hell sweep line. And then here we go. Here's also the other hell sweep. Okay, I take it back. So this one is the heat smash. This is the low heat smash. So as talked about in the trailer, the low heat smash is no longer launcher, although it costs you to install. But yeah, it is a low option. But because it's outside or used via Garuda Force, it can be low parried, which is its biggest detriment. Also, furthermore, the low heat smashes, usually in T7, you can fuzzy them, so they weren't even like a real 50-50 because you should be ducking on that frame anyway to duck the incoming high. But yeah, there we go, forward 2-1. I don't think we get a preview of what forward 2-1 looks like.
His punch parry.
Let's go and rewind it.
Heat, you just have.
Oh no, okay. Oh, interesting. So he got the guy who made this got this wrong then. So they show us forward 2-1. It's actually back 2-1. Later on, he says this is back 2-1. Okay, so the person who made this video is incorrect. So back 2-1-2, and then goes for the overhead dunk. Although, let's see. Do we have any frame data here? No, that looks like it's in a guard state, almost certainly. Because it like flashes for a second, like -14 or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I think he's still guarding. I don't think he can actually attack here. Maybe a couple of frames for you to hang yourself, but that's about it. And then it's talked about the heat smash and then the hell sweep variation on it. Of course, it says etc. So there's more to see
when he has this buff.
Oh, we'll see. Oh, there you go. Sorry, my bad. So that's not the heat smash. It's a charged version of down forward 3+4. So that actually answers one of our questions right away. So down forward 3+4. This move here used to be a move that Bruce had that Fahkumram didn't have. The nice thing with down forward 3+4 is you could actually hit confirm on counter hit the opponent mashing. So down forward 3+4 4 was safe on block. Down forward 3+4 was safe. Down forward 3+4 4 was safe. But if you hit the 4 twice more, so down forward 3+4 4 or down forward 3+4 4, it was like it was at least -15, but I think like -18 for Bruce. That's something that they never gave to Josie. But what Fahkumram could do is during this down forward 3+4, he would get this animation from the parry. So maybe down forward 3+4 is just the raw version of the parry instead, and this Sabaki's kicks. I don't know, just speculating sort of thing. But yeah, it's interesting that they showed it, and there you go. There we have the hell sweep, which then ends with the big Garuda animation. Yeah, complete attack throw. Let's see, what's the Danny on this? 45. Okay, there you go. Wall break animation. Wall break notifier, the green marker. But yeah, like I said, with the downward trajectory, it's not going to be an actual launcher realistically. And then there's that low hell sweep.
He can also do this when he fully charges either his tornado or his erupting knee.
Okay, so this is the biggest part that none of us knew, obviously, from the trailer. From the trailer, it doesn't really show you that this is actually like a coin flip stance or a 50-50 stance. It's to from the trailer, it's like, oh, he kicks you get a special attack throw, and then he launches like Brian in that video, right?
Basically, if they're blocked, he enters his Ramma stance where it's time for the opponent to guess.
So yeah.
In this stance, he can do an unsafe low, a safe mid-string that jails.
Yeah, this looks, a lot of these look very similar to like JGR stance for King. That's the big one.
A +1 on block mid.
Like for instance, here's like JGR 1, which is probably a launcher.
A slow but interruptible and blockable.
Yeah, and that's really slow. 40 frames is definitely in the realm of interrupting him / possibly sidestepping. So yeah, this kind of Garuda stance, full charge mechanic, kind of reminds me of Soul Calibur. What's it called? Focus Edge, I think. I can't remember the terminology, but in Soul Calibur, one of the mechanics added in T6 was basically a rock, paper, scissors Rochambeau. So now you're dealing with the Rochambeau, but like in a reactable time frame, although it's only one directional, right? Fahkumram's the one who's forcing you to guess. You don't get to guess the other way. You can just defend.
And a throw.
Now, what's interesting about this throw, the throw hits on 23. So theoretically, this is seeable. Now, the animation itself is pretty muted, so it's possible maybe they can't see it. But yeah, homing property, which is nice. But yeah, 23 should be in the realm of seeable. So over time, this might be easier to win. Oh, interesting. So it is a groundbreaker, though, from the yellow indicator.
It's worth mentioning as well that while these charged attacks are sidesteppable, Fahkumram can now feint and cancel them by holding forward.
Yeah, this is the biggest part about it. So yeah, he does show that he does have this homing property, which, you know, as talked about, probably -13 still. But the cancel itself is the interesting part about it. The cancel's interesting simply because when he performs the cancel, he actually enters into full crouch state. So if he didn't enter into FC, it might be a little bit weaker. But from this position, like presuming he still has Hell Sweep out of FC, he has the brand new full crouch 2 as well. Going to be a lot scarier to deal with. But yeah, also naturally good against high options, you know, and presumably able to guard fairly quickly as well.
That while forward, starting off with 3
Okay, so yeah, long story short, I'm just going to go ahead and jump around these ones. So 3+4, everyone's favorite, like he says.
This is just a really chunky 18 frame
This move is really good. Most importantly, from what we've seen, the 3+4 itself on block is -9,
really chunky
and then you can still sidestep it to weak side as well. But yeah, completely safe on block and still a crumple stun launcher. If I was to take a guess, they'll probably nerf this in one of the later patches and sharing it to be like more like Heihachi's back 4, where Fahkumram does like a tornado spin when he misses you, making it easier to punish.
Stuns the opponent for
yeah,
full
double
combo.
over stun, crumple stun
Tracks to the
launcher.
right and is safe on
Big
block
Danny.
-9. Forward 3 is a new 21 frame advancing load that is +4 on hit, tracks to the right, and is -14
now
on block.
So I'm gonna call him out here. This is not +4. He's actually wrong. So I went and took a look at the old trailer footage, and we did a frame count on 443. It's only +4 on counter hit. This is actually -1 or +0 on hit. So this move acts very similar to Elisa down back 3, Brian down back 3, where they're -1 on hit, and then on counter hit turns to a +4. So yeah, the dude is wrong, unfortunately. This is his second error on the video. Yeah, this is not plus frames on hit, although it probably should at the same time, though. Acting very similar to like Eddie 443, but at same, not high crushing, not anything special properties sort of thing. It's just an invisible low poke with a lot of range, which of course is like Fahkumram's MO.
2 is another low hitting move.
Okay, so we did talk about this one in the video, in the trailer video. This is full crouch down forward 2. As suspected, the full crouch down forward 2, the most interesting property on it is the fact that it is an elbow attack. So he does perform the elbow strike against grounded. So again, looks very similar to his down 2 ish. Instead of it being a really fast option, this is now an I-19 only out of FC option, where he does an elbow strike +4 on hit, and on counter hit causes knockdown state. Now, elbow is important because this means you can't low parry this elbow strike. You can't low parry this low, which is massive sort of thing, right? Other thing of note that is not immediately available or immediately apparent. So Fahkumram does not have a snake dash or crouch dash. His only forward advancing movement is from stance canceling itself. What that means is you can probably shortcut this move by doing hell sweep. And by hell sweep, I mean crouch dash too. So you do forward, neutral, down forward, kind of similar to Julia shotgun, and then you get a low. So this move is going to be absolutely fucking terrorizing to deal with. So what's funny is like Namco probably thought by them making the move not full crouch down to, which means you can buffer it off a standing position. So basically you slide the down and then slide to 2. So like barra, barra, like that's your timing. Barra. This would be barra baba, barra baba, barra baba. So if because you can't really see the stick, but yeah, you could probably shotgun this input, which means he's gonna have an invisible low. That's only -14, and also on counter hit, most importantly, leads to 4 for 1+2 for the Garuda stance state, which to be honest is looking like the actual juice on this character. But yeah, -14. And then on counter hit, knockdown, you probably can Garuda here. Maybe we'll stand up. One thing I know with 4 for 1+2, assuming it's still based by T7 rules, the 4 for 1+2 is launch punishable on hit. So we'll see. I assume it still is because that's typically the MO with mid steel pedals that have some extra property on them. Okay, there you go. And he gets stay Garuda. So that's a big deal.
Down 4 is a faster low at 14 frames. That will transition
into
into
down 4, classic Muay Thai attack. What's important to note is that his down 4 is technically 1 frame slower than Bruce's, which is 13, but also 1 frame quicker than Josie's that is down 4. Oh, yeah, one last thing with full crouch down 2, it hits grounded. So that means he has more safer options to approach against a ground position. And then on counter hit, yeah, down 4, as we saw in the trailer, causes the 4 attack throw counter hit, which requires you to counter on the second hit and not the first hit. But yeah, on block -15, although very long hitting, hits grounded, that's the most important part. It is negative on hit by itself, but it's still a move that you have to really use all the time if you're going to play as Fahkumram. Inversely, when you're playing against Fahkumram, you're going to have to read this option constantly.
Forward 4 is a returning 18-frame high kick that is core to Fahkumram's
Yeah,
kit.
jet kick is going to be absolutely insane. The fact that it's plus frame still causes knockdown, and then also, as we see in the trailer, causes the armor breaker is massive. Like that's huge, huge, huge. I presume this still also full tracks, so that means you're going to want to be ducking quite often, a lot against Fahkumram. So the good news that we'll get to later in this video is that for this option, his mid presence is going to be significantly weaker than it was in T7. And by T7, I mean even at his strongest. Apart from 3+4, that's going to be your only kind of mid. The now down forward 1 bidding on 15 and stand 3 on 13
Power crush
leaves a lot to be desired. So you're going to be wanting docking realistically against him quite often.
This is a very scary move. Forward 4 is a 20.
Okay, so we did talk about this move speculated. Forward 4 is basically his old forward 3+4, but instead of being a power crush, it's now +3 and leaving the opponent in full crouch. Obviously, no power crush, ground splat option, not a heat engager like I anticipated. But here, what this guy goes and talks about is the fact is like +3 for Fahkumram is devalued simply because you no longer have a down forward 1 that hits actually on 15. So on counter hit, +14, and then he goes and talks about a couple of examples. The go-to option realistically you're going to go for is back 1. Back 1 then gives you Garuda stance afterwards. So that means you're going to be doing almost 60 damage on one counter hit forward 4. That leaves you to your strongest state as well. And then here he talks about the meta itself, stand 3, but no one's going to be using forward 4 into 3-1. Like, no, back 1 into Garuda is like so valuable that no one's going to want to force a 3-1 at +750/50. That's not going to be a thing now. It's not going to be a thing in the future.
It's worth noting at this point that one of Fahkumram's weaknesses is that his attacks are generally pretty slow on startup. For example, most characters have a 13-frame down forward 1 as a quick mid poke after the opponent blocks a +on-block move.
Yeah, so this is a big deal. The big deal here is that down forward 1 no longer hits on 13. It's now 15. Furthermore, down forward 1 by itself doesn't seem to have nearly as much of mix-up options built into it. So he uses forward 3 or forward 4 into down forward 1 on 15, not being a trap, which is true. But what he says is basically say to the fact of, yeah, well, after forward 4, what you're going to want to use is 3-1, right? Because 3-1 is your through 13 option. The issue is he doesn't really understand the general mechanics of a character like the Muay Thai characters, again, Fahkumram, Bruce, Josie, where stand 3 is your quickest mid at 13. Bruce's down forward 1 used to be 15 as well, so this is not new to Muay Thai, it's new to Fahkumram. Of course, down forward 1 for him used to be 13 and have a 4-way mix-up on it. But yeah, it's not new to Muay Thai. The issue is if you ever play against Muay Thai, the problem with an option like 3-1 is you can easily sidestep the 13-frame mid presence. So while 3-1 and stand 3 in general has like really good range, that's all it really has going for it. It's very, very linear, and there's a mix-up built into it, but that mix-up is just contingent on you blocking or getting hit by the option. So keep in mind, we're playing T8 Season 2, so what that means is you can sidestep either direction now. You don't have to even sidestep into the foreground or into the background to escape incoming pressure. You can always sidestep to his weak side off a full crouch position, and you'll naturally OS a stand 3 on 13. So that's a huge nerf for sure. But yeah, you're not going to realistically want to use 3-1 unless you know for a fact your opponent is going to mash in that position.
Sure, after this move is blocked. Forward 3.
Okay, so as talked about, running 3 in theory is really good, but +6 is big nerf to the option. The biggest nerf again is that the fact that this is now active for 4 frames, I guess, instead of, like I said, 6 or 7 frames. So the range on this is significantly worse now. So nice thing is that +6, well, down forward 1 is then becomes a trap. The issue, of course, is Power Crush activates on frame 7. So even at +6, that means stand 3 loses the Power Crush as well. So really bad issue like you have to deal with when it comes to frame data. So maybe the idea is, running 3 at +6, and then you go for your 14 frame low, down 4, at that +6, and then you will counter hit, power crushes, and then I think, would that be mathematically you'd beat hop kicks too? So 9. No, you wouldn't beat hop kick still. Okay. Wait, would you beat hop kick? No. 6 + 9, 15. Yeah, sorry, you would beat hop kick. So you'd beat hop kick by 1 frame. So if you think you're in hop kick or power crush, down 4 on 14, post running 3, regardless of what frame they block it on, you will win. Now let's say that out loud though. One thing of note is this +6 might not be a +6G. This might be an actual clean +6. So what that means, if you're able to hit the running 3 on the last active frame, on frame 22, that would technically be +6 +4, so +10. And now that 1-4 is stronger, that would make it such that running 3 into 1-4 would be a natural combo, potentially, but something of note.
Even if it's blocked. This one is +6 on be sidestep both ways.
Yeah, but yeah, you can sidestep the shit out of running 3.
Is another far-reaching low. This one has 20 frames of startup.
Now, down 3 did get some nice quality of life buffs. So the frame data on itself is the same, -13 on block, -1 on hit. But
it has a fake out by pressing down 4.
Now he has an overhead. And the overhead, while it's +12, you don't get a combo. You still get a follow-up afterwards. So that's a big one. Most importantly, the overhead by itself
if the second kick hits, it will
is also
guarantee
plus frames.
And if it's blocked,
there you go, +2. And leaving an S. So again, that stands your 1-1 options, throws. I wouldn't recommend down 4, but you can apply some sort of follow pressure in this position, or go for a 3 if you think they're going to close up. Don't recommend it still, but
the low hit
still
can
you
be
can.
sidestep both ways, while the fake out tracks to the right.
Yeah, what's interesting is like down 4-3 did used to track one direction, so it's weird to see that it got nerfed, but that's probably because he takes a step forward during the animation.
Tracks to the right. Back 3 is a returning move from Tekken 7, but this time it's
so there's a lot of questions about back 3. So back 3 is your heat engager option. It is a homing tool. So what's important to note with heat engagers is heat engagers don't have any sort of counter property, right? So by default, we know that back 3 on counter hit, it's not going to be a launcher because it's only heat engager property. With that being said, back 3 is likely also going to be a launching heat engager, heat dash cancel option. Simply because with the changes to his down forward 1 and down forward 2, that would leave somewhat of a dead zone for long range punishment for him. So 4 for 1 + 2 in theory is great if you're able to land it, but you're not going to be able to get it realistically. So that means back 3 is going to be your go-to option. Now the nice thing with back 3, as it always has been, 16 frames is like your go-to punisher. If your opponent shows you Heihachi 442, Demo Man, Death Fist, like your back 3 is always going to hit the opponent because you're playing a big character. Now, there's a couple fringe cases where back 3 isn't going to hit on 16, but for the most part, this is going to be your go-to option to apply follow pressure afterwards. Last thing of note, though, at tip, even though he's super tall, some things start to fall apart, and then again, it's also presuming that back 3 is a heat dash cancel launcher. But otherwise, yeah, it's still decent. It's of course it's not as strong as like its 3.2 variation, where it was still like a counter launcher, but still good nonetheless. Okay, up forward 2, nothing special. It's his power crush option, high. He's always had this. It is a high option and -7. On block, high power crushes are typically +9. No one's going to block this. The nice thing, it being a diagonal, you can diagonal cancel it. The issue is it's a high, so you're diagonally canceling it to a high, and your opponent might just crush you naturally. So what I was predicting what was going to happen is up forward 2 would turn into like a homing attack, and this would be your like, okay, big boys typically have high power crushes with homing. That's like their MO. But yeah, they opted not to do that. And the reason they didn't do that is because instead they added a new power crush for Fahkumram, and that power crush is now forward 3 + 4. So forward 3 + 4 was his old power crush, but now instead he does the back to jazzercise sort of option. What we know from the trailer, and actually I don't know if he even mentions that, to be honest. Let's see.
-7.
Does he talk about it?
Power crush, forward 3 + 4, on the other hand, is a mid, but is slower at 22 frames of startup and is -14 on block. Next is...
Yeah, he doesn't mention it. Yeah, so this move on hit causes Garuda stance. And that's something we knew from the trailer, so error number 3, I guess. Yeah, we see in the trailer, it leads to stance. So it's not a heat engager course or power crush. It just gives you Garuda stance when it hits. Hence, that's why it's minus 14. Otherwise, I think we had seen in one of the videos, maybe later on in this video, it doesn't properly cause like a wall splat. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Maybe we'll see it shortly.
22 frames of startup upon earlier. It's on the slower side.
Okay, so down forward 1, I-15, probably going to have same tracking problems they used to have. Now instead, he has 2 extensions from down forward 1. So he has down forward 1, 2, minus 13. That leads to Garuda stance. So this option, down forward 1, 2, looks very similar to like down forward 2, 1. Going to be in the same kind of application. And now the other mix-up he has is down forward 1, 4. And down forward 1, 4 is a mid-high heat engager. We saw it in the trailer. I thought like, okay, maybe it would be a mid, but no, it is definitely high. The nice thing is that it's also heat dash cancel launcher, although I guess he doesn't mention that.
Forward 1 plus 2, a 21 frame safe mid.
Okay, so this is something that we had predicted in the predictions video or speculation video, that forward 1 plus 2 would turn to a heat engager. It used to be a wall bounce. Now that wall bounce is gone, this will probably be a heat engager that actually, we don't know for a fact. So in the video, in the combo video part of the section, we'll get to it, he does show forward a heat burst, forward 1 plus 2, forward 1 plus 2, but technically there's a penalty on it. But I still think that this is probably a full launcher with a heat dash cancel against a standing opponent, simply because, yeah, the power, running 2 doesn't have the property, or running 3 doesn't have the property, and then furthermore, wall bounce is gone, so likely will be the case.
The aforementioned back 3, up forward 3, which is a 14 frame.
Yeah, so this one we saw in the trailer. There was a frame skip, so we couldn't actually count the frames on it. But in hindsight, this makes sense. I-14 heat engager probably does not cause a heat dash cancel launcher. I would say, this would be a really good punisher because like diagonal cancel against full crouch, wall, up forward 3. The issue is like wall stand 2-4 into 4-4 1 plus 2. It's so strong for Fahkumram. I really can't see this up forward 3 being useful. And presuming it has the old Bruce frame data, up forward 3 on block is not going to be safe either. So unless this launches, which it might, yeah, this is going to be a move that's just antiquated from like up forward 2-4 instead. The only real benefit of it is just the fact that it's a knee attack. So that means no sabakis, parries, so on and so forth, or reversals rather. You can parry it. But power crush is so prolific, it's not even that big a deal.
And finally, there's wall stand.
Yeah, wall stand 1-2 being a heat engager was not expected for sure. Damage looks to be pretty good still. Obviously, it's a high, non-jailing. Almost certainly not going to be a launcher. Up forward 3 might be heat dash cancel launcher. Wall stand 1-2 definitely won't be.
13 frame while standing punch.
And it won't be because, as talked about,
punishes, let's go over everything Fahk has from 10 frame to 23 frame punisher.
Oh wait, he's not okay. So okay, I might as well talk about it because yeah, he's skipping that really important part. But yeah, the other key one he has, and we're at 6 seconds. So yeah, wall stand 2-4 is massive. This being a 14 frame wall standing knockdown, that's also going to cause wall splat. And then furthermore, if you don't get the wall, you still get 4-4 1 plus 2 for Garuda stance after, is crazy. Like this alone is super, super good. Like the fact that back 1 causes Garuda, wall stand 2-4 gives you Garuda, like this and that. Like a lot of these moves are really just contingent on you being able to punish the opponent. So in a game that's like hyper aggressive where everyone wants to apply pressure, like Fahkumram is looking like he has some of the best punishment in the game. Now, it's a little early to tell, but still, he might have a thing. Yeah, so nice thing about 1-4. 1-4 it no longer causes the launcher like it did in early season or season 3. At least they've reverted the frame data. It's back to +8 because yeah, it used to be +3 and your turn was absolutely over after he did 1-4, simply because yeah, he didn't have the best hitboxes, and unless they went high for some reason, any other sort of like crouching or sidestep evasion is going to eat you alive. Now at +8 you can actually apply your proper pressure. Same thing, down 4, down 1, down forward 2, down forward 2 and down forward 1 technically lose against power crush, but still it's still good pressure afterwards for you to apply pressure at that +8. And it's all because +8 rather than +3.
4 is the better option in just about every situation. It does more damage and leaves
And
you
then
at
here we
+8
find
as
out about
opposed to
2-1.
+5. He doesn't have an 11 frame punish, but for 12 frames, he's got 2-1.
Which, yeah, is going to be a really
4-3.
good option. 4-3, okay, that's nice. 4-3 is +6. I can't remember the frame data. I want to say it was +1 or maybe -1 because he has an extension on it. From the animation, from it how he's kind of moving, it probably still has the extension off of 4-3, but we don't know, unfortunately, at this time yet. 4-4, which, keep in mind, 4-3 and 4-4 is effectively the same mix-up, high-low, high-low, or high-high, high-low. You're going to duck them either way.
You're generally going to want to do 2-1, as it does the most damage and knocks down, and even at the wall, it will wall stun. For 13 frame punishes, there's 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, the loss of down forward 1-2 is tremendous because down forward 1-2 was a decently strong I-13, really good range. I believe down forward 1-2 was +7, but I think it did way more than 23 damage. So yeah, hey, you know, if you need a 13, you need a 13, but realistically, the value of 2-1 is so much more valuable than hitting a 3-1 for +7 against standing. You're going to want your 2-1 for knockdown, almost certainly. Oh yeah, other question about 2-1, because of course we don't have answers yet. So, or sorry, 2-1 or forward 2-1 used to have an extension, or rather 2-1 did, and that extension was 2-4, which was basically a Bruce move. Now 2-4 wasn't NC. It would have made a cool plus, you know, I-12 Punisher, but now that 2-1 is a thing, is 2-4 still a thing? Like, that's one of my biggest questions for sure. Because if so, that's not bad. Okay, now to the real punishment. So back 1, I-14, again, Garuda option. You can go 4-4-3, but you're almost certainly going to want 4-4-1+2 for the Garuda. More damage, and now you have better applied pressure afterwards. Also, even though the frame data is worse, quote unquote, the recovery angle is different, right? He recovers back turn rather than forward facing. So that means wall stand off of crouching or off ground position, like wall stand 3, wall stand 4, is not a thing. Okay, up 4-3 on 14. Oh, there you go. So back 2-1. He calls it back 2-1, but we found out from the video it's actually forward 2-1. So actually, now that he mentioned it, though,
knocks down 3, which is a heat engager, and back 2-1.
So if forward 2-1 is a 15 and NC, that means that would do a lot of damage on a breakable floor stage, because forward 2-1-2 off of Garuda breaks the floor, and I doubt it does a strong break, but still, at least it's going to break the floor, and it is likely going to be fully. Oh, we'd have to look at it. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at it. It's probably not fully NC, right? Because he doesn't attack throw. Oh, we don't have the frame. Ah, bummer. I'm really curious about that, because if that by some chance was like a you know, unscaled 100%, that would do a lot of damage on a floor break stage, and presumably is NC jailing and safe on block. So very similar to like Leo 424 with her install as well. So
your go-to option, solid damage and knocks down, but doesn't give you a follow-up while the opponent is grounded. All 3 of these options also wall stun.
Oh. Whoa. Why did you skip that? Okay, so error number 4, error number 5. So he showed 2 different moves. So he shows forward 2-1, which is 15, but he calls it back 2-1. But what they do is the very next clip, that's back 2-1. This actually is back 2-1, which means he probably still has back 2-1 and back 2-3. Sorry, is what I'm trying to say. And back 2 hits on 14. So back 2-1 still exists. He just shows forward 2-1 instead. But the point I was making still stands. If forward 2-1 allows for unscaled 100% ground splat, there's no way, right? It's probably double 100 into like a 70. God, that would do so much damage.
The opponent is grounded.
I don't know.
All 3 of these options also wall stun.
Okay, back 1 and then forward 2-1. Oh, interesting. So he did correct himself, but he didn't because he didn't catch there. Okay.
At 15 frames, your go-to will be down forward 2-3, which is his main launcher.
So, only real question here is, like, does down forward 2-3 still, does it jail? Like, when he first came out, it used to jail and be minus 12, and they made it minus 13. And then they got rid of the jailing property in later Season 3, but then they also left it still being minus 13 on block. So I presume this is not going to jail. But I don't know. All I know is 21 damage for a mid-high that doesn't jail. Doesn't feel good. Like, from what we've seen, the damage potential on his 15 isn't very strong, but later on we see Wall Stand 3 do really good damage. So maybe, again, like we were talking about, he's just looking for punishment. Okay, so actually that was my second question. I don't remember seeing this part. Yeah, does down forward 2-1 still exist? And yes, it does. So still causes wall splat, so that would be a launcher if you're by the wall. This does more damage than down forward 2-3. Also leaves the opponent in minus 13s. So technically, like Twin Piston and other characters can launch it, but just Kazuya in this game. So that's all I have to worry about. This is your go-to, like, oh hey, I want to cause wall splatter launcher, and just do that instead. Way more Danny. Okay, and then we had seen this. And it is down forward 1-4 heat dash cancel launcher. Same thing. 35 damage, but then you're doing a heat dash cancel launcher with 60 scaling, a penalty on it. So down forward 2-3 is still probably better than committing to down forward 1-4. The only kind of thing you have going for you is down forward 1-4 is, air quotes, safe if you don't duck it, but down forward 2-3 is also safe if you don't duck it. So,
or will be what you use if you
I guess not. Maybe, I don't know. Whatever. This feels misplaced, is what I'm trying to say.
And if you block something that's super punishable,
okay.
his 20 frame.
Yeah, sorry. Here's another error. So he says up forward 4. This is up forward neutral 4, aka generic hop kick. He does have up forward 4. It is his his spin line that we'll see later. He does it a lot in his combos because it looks like you're going to be your go-to spin option.
Wall standing 4, which does 20.
Okay, as talked about, wall stand 4 looks a lot better, significantly better. Wall stand 1-3 or 1-2 rather than 13. Heat engager option, likely not a launcher. Still causes wall splat. Wall stand 2-4, as talked about, is going to be the go-to. The fact that you get Garuda afterwards is like crazy good. And then furthermore, again, you get the Oki that gives granted with the 2. And now the biggest change, Wall Stand 3 is now just a stun launcher. So kind of reminiscent of Eddie Wall Stand 2. So I hope Wall Stand 3 is not launch punishable on block. But who knows? It is a knee, so you can't reverse it or sabaki it. But it causes double over stun. And then, leading for really, really massive damage. He no longer looks like he no longer gets airborne during the animation. Although it doesn't matter. In T7, he wasn't airborne until like the last frame anyway, so it's not a big deal regardless. Okay, and then finally for combos, he just starts small. The things that are important of note, back 1 looks to be your go-to filler. He then will also use a new move, up forward 4, the step kick, causes spin. Down back 4, which is the strong aerial tailspin state, and then he'll do some sort of variation on 3 canceling for big pushback. But all the combos that he shows are of this type of variation. We had seen, and I'm glad he does it, we had seen in a trailer video that down back 4 structures post double overstone is much more valuable. Because you're front loading with a ton of damage, like 16 damage front load is tremendous. So now Wall Stand 3 is doing like real damage off the get-go. And then furthermore, you're able to front load furthermore with back 1 for 10 damage. So if you're able to thread in down back 4, back 1 into some other structure. Now granted, down 3-4 might not be the go-to because damage potential is kind of reduced. But he probably can do some major damage there. But strong aerials, and then ends it. And then he has one final combo. Down back 4, back 1, step kick. Oh, I didn't pay attention. How fast is step kick? I think we theorized it like 14 or 15. 21. Okay, we're way off. Maybe I'm thinking of a different attack. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier. Forward 2. But he has the the bound effect in the combo, so he's hit it with a penalty. Okay, and I think that's it. Let's take a look at the last bit of footage. Okay, they expand on what we had seen earlier. Okay, so again, the full crouch down forward too, like, is really, really nice to have access to something like that. Like that really long range approaching low that you can't low parry, and best of all, only -14, as talked about. You can probably shotgun the input as well. Like, look at, she's holding back to escape and still getting clipped. Because, yeah, he takes a big step forward when he does it, which is really, really good. Okay, there you go. So Power Crush. Oh, okay, no, she didn't get hit by it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a clip where we had seen the Power Crush. Oh, here it is. So when he hits the Power Crush, and this is 2 hits, so it gives him Garuda, but notice the knockdown state. Yeah, this is not a launching Power Crush. So that means for -14, you're just looking to get Garuda. Like, that's it. Now she's sliding, so maybe something is guaranteed on the ground, maybe down 4. But still, like, that's rougher -14. Let's see. Let's count frames. Okay, so he's recovered here. So here he should be recovered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so yeah, down 4 would be guaranteed. She recovers on frame 15. Okay, just theory crafting. Yeah, so down 4 likely is guaranteed, which is, okay, better than I had anticipated. But I think for a -14 Power Crush, I think everyone and their mother would prefer the launching type instead. And then, of course, Forbes 2 is a heat engager, full splat. Back 1. Okay, back 1 kind of left her off the wall. That's not bad. Back 1 again, but yeah, she's in low slump now. And then I think that's about it. Yeah, I don't know if I will... I probably won't intersplice this with anything else. I'll probably just release it as is. But yeah, it was nice to see some things. I just wish that like the Anna Williams guide seemed a little bit more full-featured. But hopefully on the Tekken Talk on Sunday that we'll be doing live, we'll get some more information as to exactly what's going on. But yeah, that's the Fahkumram video. If you notice something I didn't notice or I made a very glaring mistake, please let me know the time code to set a mistake. Beyond that, yeah, we are doing the match review, and then we'll do the live coverage of Fahkumram this Sunday. Consider becoming a member. That's how I make money on the channel. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Later on.